I'll let one of y'all have it. I am maxed out.
I miss 3D dice. Darn you, Forge!
There we go. And yeah, you just have to watch out on those updates. They will get you.
I think I just need to bust out some IRL dice. Just roll some of that to get my right dice rolling fixed.
We have one player on Thursday night who sometimes can get their, I can't remember what the company is called. It's the Bluetooth dice that can connect to your VTT. So you roll it on your table and it will connect. It works
Cool.
sometimes. Most of the time it's like, it doesn't work. He's like, and I always hear him say, that was $200 well spent. Yeah. Oh my gosh, absolutely. Well, I see an 8 and an 11 in the chat, so we will give that to the 11 going once, twice, sold to Alicia. Alicia, please take it away.
Oh man, it's also been a while since I just screened something properly. Let me make sure I'm actually doing this right. Okay. There we go. Well, last time on Rime the Frostmaiden, we were in Goodmead, trying to set up a meeting with, I guess, the candidates of the speakers, Olivessa and Beth, trying to have them get the citizens to make a decision about Doug and Friend and the atrocities that they were doing to the populace. We were able to essentially summon a town hall at the meat hall, and Lotus was brought forward to present their case of taking Doug and Friend, having the citizens not to immediately slaughter those two, but instead to send them to Revel's End so they can face incarceration there. As a way to try and make an actual decision, they decided to use a democratic approach and go with a vote, which everyone seemed to be fine with the presenting case that this was able to give them. They agreed and allowed that to happen. But on the tail end of that, Olivessa asked all the assembled citizens to have an actual vote for who would be the town speaker. Now that the settlement is starting to kind of come back into its own, they need someone to kind of lead it forward. It was at this time that Feth was acting a little bit more assertive from the sniveling coward that we had met earlier. And he seemed a little bit more confident in his position as taking the leadership role. But during that time, Alicia and Gaiman noticed that there was movement from some cloaked figures outside the town hall, and on closer inspection, realized that they were Zentarum agents. The no good organization of black market and mercenaries and thieves and all that reputable stuff that they have. So we set the task of trying to make the town hall as defendable as possible without alerting too many people. When the actual vote was tallied and Olivessa won, Beth showed his true colors in saying that he wanted to take he should have taken the position of town speaker by force instead of democratically, because it would have been so much easier. And he revealed himself to be a member of the Zentarum. And that's when the fight broke out. Though it was maybe a little anticlimactic because he immediately got banished. So he wasn't really much
Yeah,
of a factor.
sent him to the interdimensional Waffle House.
Yep, where he was trying to figure out the 2-page menu that's laminated for a reason. But we were able to clean up the Zentarum goons that were there. Our B team were able to handle the other rabble that was also trying to attack the citizens. And then when Feth was brought in, we were able to knock him out and apprehend him. And he'll be a part of the group that we send over to Rebel's End as well. And that was pretty much where we left off, if I'm not mistaken, with us just having finished that fight.
That is absolutely true, and I don't think you left off anything major according to what I've got here. So please take a point of DM inspiration.
Gracias, Senor.
My pleasure. Now, before we get started, our fact inspiration question for this evening. Your character unfortunately was killed, but was brought back using a reincarnation spell. What race, species, type of creature do you believe your character will be reincarnated as? And let us begin with the Lotus. Lotus, please tell us your answer to the fact inspiration question for this week.
It's kind of interesting you brought this up because it was some time ago you and I had actually discussed this off game, just as a random conversation topic. And I was thinking that just to keep up the sort of like tall lady energy that Lotus normally has, I think she'd be good as a Loxodon, though without being a white dragonborn without the innate resistance to cold, she'd have to wear some like cold weather gear, and I imagine she'd have some hair, but she'd dye it purple. And in fact, I got that worked up in Hero Forge here. You see, she's even got the Ugg boots on.
That's really cool.
I was sharing this with someone in another Discord, and they said, like, wouldn't it be funny? It's like she goes to do a breath weapon, instead just does, like, the elephant trumpet instead.
Absolutely.
Lotus the Mastodon.
Yep.
Which makes me think, because you all know I have like an almost strange obsession with Power Rangers, of Lotus screaming out, when the Black Ranger would go, Mastodon, Lion, Thunderzord power, and then shoots people with water out of her trunk. It would work.
Considering how cold it is, would that technically be like a freezing breath weapon or something?
Absolutely. It would be very bad to get just doused with water like that in this region. Well, Lotus, you can definitely add a expiration point to your form. And let us continue to Game in the Glade. Game what is your answer to this expiration question for today?
Well, being my now a smarter being, I do know that unfortunately there's a bit of randomness to it, but I would hope that I will get reincarnated as a dwarf. I kind of feel like Goliaths and dwarves, giants are all kind of like spiritually there together. So yeah, that would be my hope.
I could see it. I could see Gaiman as a dwarf. Gaiman, please add a factspiration point. And it is okay that we don't have a dwarven version of Gaiman. I'm sure that we won't need it, because Gaiman isn't getting killed. He's not getting brought back by reincarnation. I'm knocking on wood right now.
I'm too badass to die.
Oh no. Oh no. We did it. We did the thing. We shouldn't have done this thing.
Put it out into the universe.
Listen, mate. I can take whatever this DM throws at me. I'm that cool.
Oh no. Okay.
I can
Okay,
just
I'm
imagine
gonna
Orb
wait.
just writing down challenge accepted.
Wait, what
You
now?
see-
That was gaming. That wasn't me. Please don't kill my character.
You see in the top corner screen, the DM will remember this.
Yep.
absolutely.
Kill Bill sirens start playing in my house. It wakes up my wife. She's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" I'm like, "It's okay. It's okay."
It's okay.
Alright,
I
Megan.
just have to kill one of my players. He threw down the gauntlet. I just got to bitch slap him a little.
Wait. She looks at me, the player, and I nod. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, we will give Gaiman a faxpiration point, and now we have to ask Alicia. Alicia, you're brought back with a a reincarnation spell. What race or creature do you believe you will be brought back as?
I've not actually met one in person, but I've heard of humanoids called Asimars, who are, well, the appearance of a human, but have the touch of divine to them. If there is anything to be brought back as aside from what I currently am, I would probably like to choose an Asimar. Maybe with a touch of sunlight.
I can see it. Alicia, please add a point of faxpiration to your character sheet. And let me take us all back to this map. The Town Hall of Goodmead is quite a different looking place than when this meeting started. There are the bodies of Zentarum agents, the bodies of guards that have been downed in the fight. The two ogres still locked up in their prison cell, looking weakened. The unconscious body of two of the Zentarum agents lie on the ground. The body of Fef Morin, if that is even his real name, and the unnamed Zentarum agent, innocuous, unconscious. Also, the dead bodies of several winged snakes lie all over the place. The B team slowly are making their way back onto the scene after dealing with the Zentarum agents that pursed their way through the crowd to cause so much trouble for the people of Goodmead. With the scene being set, heroes, what are your next actions?
Well, I'd say seeing Fef at my feet here, gonna, of course, lean down, of course, take away any weapons that he's carrying on him, and start rifling through his stuff for one, any anything that's, like any notes or scrolls or anything on him. Also, any obvious ingestible poisons.
Okay. As you are looking over Fef's body, he is a faction agent. He's a spy. So these might be hidden on him quite well. Give me an investigation check as you are checking out every nook and cranny for a possible cyanide pill. I imagine Lotus may have seen the first Captain America movie, so she knows about these.
Mm-hmm. All right. Tell you what, just to make sure I don't miss anything, I'm going to go ahead and burn a DM inspiration on this. 21.
All right, with a 21, here's some things that you find. Firstly, you discover the obvious stuff. You find a short sword that he was using to fight. It appears to be incredibly well crafted, and possibly enhanced as it shines in the light of the room. You believe this short sword may in fact be magical. You also find a short bow that does not appear that it has been of heavy use at all. It also appears that it could potentially be magical. As you kind of pat down his chest and his arms and his legs, the armor that he was wearing underneath his winter clothing is incredibly well made. You see that it's studded leather, and Akia opens their mouth, letting out a modem-like sound, confirming that this guy had a magical ranged and close quarters weapon and magical armor on. This guy is pretty important. The other stuff that you find a disguise kit. You also find what appears to be a scroll case with some papers inside the scroll case. And you find some maps of Icewind Dale.
All right,
The
as
place,
I'm
not the person.
right, so it's like I'll find this stuff and start running it down and handing stuff over towards Gaiman, at least the weapon stuff. So, well, I'll say this about Fef, if that's his name. He was certainly well prepared.
Well, I don't prepared. I mean, surely he was up to some kind of shit.
There is one other thing, and well, I wish I didn't have to do this, and you see her start to reach into his mouth and just start feeling around his teeth. It's like, sir, and you start mumbling. He's like, let's see if there's any false ones in here. So she's basically checking for, like, cyanide capsule tooth.
Hold on, I thought you were one of them reporter types, not a dentist.
Well, I'm worried that it's... I've known people in this sort of line of work, even on my world, and many times what they'll do is they'll have a fake tooth with a lethal poison in it. That way, if they're worried they're going to get captured, like what happened here, they just bite down and, well, it's kind of hard to interrogate a dead body, right?
Isn't that what Speak with Dead is for?
Here's the thing about Speak with Dead. If the person you use it on doesn't like you, they're not inclined to answer you truthfully.
Oh, good point.
As you're feeling around in their mouth, give me a medicine check.
All right, that one I'm not so good with, but I'll give it a shot. 12.
As you're feeling around in the mouth, you discover no signs of gum disease or of breakdown of the enamel. This appears to be a normal mouth from all intents and purposes.
All right, I think we've got everything useful we can off of this one. Got any empty cells out there?
As you say that, you hear a set of feet making their way down the stairs. You see the, newly elected speaker of Goodmead run down. Olivessa Undapur. She looks down to the unconscious Fef, to you all, and she will say, "Good. The incursion has stopped for now?"
I mean, if you want to call it an incursion, yeah, I mean, let's be honest, we made sure what government.
No doubt. I had no idea that our Thanes were so powerful. I mean, we should have all known, based upon you defeating that war machine that laid waste to most of our society. But these lot did not know that, apparently, and they have learned this lesson. She will whistle, and one of the town guards will come in. She will look over to the town guard, and the guard will look up to you all. She will say, "These men need to be placed in a cell. Make sure the town guards place this one underneath tight scrutiny, next to the ogres. And the town guard will start moving Fef's body and the innocuous assassin into the cell. As that is going down outside, Alicia, what are you up to in these moments?
Alicia has moved into medical center mode. So if there's any guards that are okay after they've done a quick check over them, they'll ask to gather the injured over to a section. If they can be saved, if they can't, then to move the dead off to the side. And Alicia will just start working their magic and trying to heal some people.
I gotcha. Okay, doing triage. Love it. All right, and as the group outside sees Alicia working for triage, most of the B team kind of runs alongside you to help out with those efforts to help the people of Goodmead. Okay, and I need to roll because I don't believe if I did. Okay, so these two individuals are going to be out for, we'll average it, about 2 hours before they wake up on their own from being unconscious. In that time, while Alicia and the B team are triaging and helping the injured and the sick, and anyone who, unfortunately enough, got caught in the crossfire of this fight. Gaiman and Lotus, kind of back over to you guys. What is going on in your side of the Goodmeads?
Yes, I would have moved back into the main room here, and I guess Lotus would have probably moved over to the desk and taken out her notebook and just started like basically making bullet points of, you know, what had happened in the fight and what led up to it. It's like, and she'll say like, you know, Fef had a pretty interesting strategy there, you know, obfuscating his obvious skills so that people wouldn't suspect him.
Yeah, but he kind of overplayed it. I mean, he was so blatantly incompetent that he kind of had to, force and when it came time to, positioning himself. You know what I mean?
She'll nod, and then as she'll start writing that down, like, so there is one thing I'm kind of curious about, and I wouldn't mind getting your input on this. Do you think maybe Zenthrim might have had something to do with that protection racket I helped Sheriff Markham stop back in Brynshander?
It's possible. I mean, is this all, you're trying to come up with, plausible reason for, getting what's-his-face furloughed?
Possibly. And she'll lean in closer to you just so hopefully no one else might overhear. It's like, do you think you had a good idea about forging a, some sort of a letter saying that Valish Gant's been exonerated due to new evidence that's come to light, and therefore asking for his release?
I mean, we can certainly do that, but I mean, I honestly think we kind of need to get the lay of the land first. Go up there with, those that need to be tossed in, and then kind of get the read on the.
Right. Don't want to go into the, a high security prison without knowing what's going on.
Oh, it's Matthew arrived.
Hello.
Hello. We have figured out that the guys that you guys defeated last time are going to take about 2 hours to wake up. Fef had magical weapons and armor on him, along with a scroll case filled with papers and a map of Icewind Dale, the place, not the person. Alicia and the B team are currently acting as a triage center for the injured and the sick that have been attacked by the Zentarim.
All right. Ikea will just be out there helping Alicia and the B team.
Okay. The new speaker, Olivessa, will approach Gaiman and Modus and say, "You have quite the caravan going with you to Gravel's End. It has gone from 2 ogres now to 4, with the 2 members of the Zentarim. Do you have the manpower necessary to move these prisoners?"
I guess just out of character, thinking about with us, the B team and Sled Dog team, do I feel like we would have enough?
Well, your sleds definitely wouldn't have enough room if you brought everyone with you, essentially to carry all of these additional people with you, if that makes sense. Because you guys have a pretty big B team.
Right. I'll look to her and say, well, we do have a fairly large troop that normally travels with us, even without the extra company.
Is there any way that the city of Goodmead could assist in this? Either providing temporary shelter for some of your other members, or any other way that we could help?
Well, that probably would be the best. Anyone who stays behind, I'm sure, would be more than happy to help with any reconstruction efforts you still have going on.
Well, they are welcome here in the city of Goodmead, of course. And it is top priority, of course, that we get these dangerous criminals out of the region. Matthew, you have your hand raised. What's up?
Hey, I want to be considerate of the situation because I am sort of just jumping in, but it seems like it'd be a good time for that for Ikea to do that thing, but I don't want it to be inappropriate. Do you think that'd be appropriate timing?
Sure. So Olivessa is talking over logistics of trying to help you guys. So Ikea, you are outside with Alicia and the B team helping to triage members of the town when you notice 2 of the bodies of the town guards that have been, unfortunately enough, slain in the attack. When they were slain, Ikea was inside the building. This, of course, happened outside. So, Ikea, you notice that these 2 people are stone cold dead. I believe each of them has a singular crossbow bolt lodged in their torso. Venom spread out from the impact wound filling their veins. Their veins, of course, protruding out from their bodies, blood coagulated in the vein itself.
Akia's quiet as they normally are. Alicia's high perception would notice that Akia, the air around you starts getting a little bit colder. You start seeing like this condensation frost sort of coming off of Akia as the rime continues to cover their body.
Kia will. Oh, sorry. Alicia will stop what they're currently doing and look over towards Kia. Are you all right?
Akia looks up at you with red eyes and says, "I'm fine."
Well, I need to roll an insight check, or could I use my passive?
Um,
Or is it obvious that it's not fine? My passive would be an 18.
You can roll for their voice, but you can passive their stance and the visual cues. It's obvious visually that the same thing that sort of happened in the tomb and maybe a couple other places is going on again, where that rime is covering Akia's body. Yeah. I think with the 23, you can barely tell in Akia's voice that they are upset, but they don't display it like other people do. And you would see Akia stand up, and they're going to start walking in the building.
I don't want to pressure you, but do you want to talk about this?
Oh. The murders. No. I'll be okay. And yeah, with a 23, you can definitely tell there's something up. Like, something severely up right now.
Okay.
And Akia turns around and starts walking again.
I think for right now, Alicia's going to try and wrap up what they're doing here, but will walk after Akia after a couple of minutes to check on him.
I think Lotus and Gaiman would both notice Akia come over to the jail cell.
As you walk over, you see there is a singular town guard kind of standing in front of the locked door as the two men are unconscious inside. And the town guard would say, "Hail, Thane of Goodmead."
Hello. And Akia would start, is it locked?
Yes, it is a locked cell. Even with unconscious men inside, they're like, "We gotta lock this thing up just in case."
Akia starts picking the lock.
All right, He would look down to you and he'd say, "Thane of Goodmead, what are you doing? Why are you picking that lock? Do you need me to open this door? What is happening?"
This will be faster. He says as he goes to make a roll, which might not actually be faster.
Yeah, give us a thieves check roll here. Yeah, that's a 10. 10 is not enough to open the door. And as you're starting to fiddle around, it's a decently made lock. The guard looks to Akia and then to everyone else in the room. Is there an issue here, Thane? The men are unconscious.
Akia's hands shaking and he drops his tools on the ground, which you've never seen him do before.
Yeah.
Just a moment.
As
May-
Alicia comes in, I'll look over to Alicia and say, like, Alicia, is it just me or is this something... And I'll whisper, is something wrong with Akia?
Something is most definitely wrong.
I think Akia's going to, with a tid, Akia's just fumbling with his tools as his hands just keep shaking. And we'll try again, and they just slip out of his hands because they keep shaking.
How about we take you? I guess we can now address you as town speaker. Speaker Olivessa, is there a room that we can go upstairs to?
Yes, of course. Here, everyone come with me. Guardsmen, make sure those men stay in that cell. And Olivessa will hail you all to follow her to this portal that I believe works.
Come on, Akia, let's go upstairs.
Just one moment.
They'll put a hand on your shoulder.
I'll be there in a minute. Akia's going to punch the lock.
Right, bro, give us a punch. Let's see. Oh my gosh. 26 definitely hits the lock. 10 damage. The damage threshold on this essential prison door is a 10. So Akia would do basically 2 damage to the lock. As it starts to look a little worse for wear. It's still hanging on. But it definitely makes a gigantic clang and bang as you make contact with the lock. And the guardsman basically starts to stand in front of you, Akia, and says, "Sir, what's happening? I feel like I'm missing something. Are you all right?"
I just need a minute alone with the prisoners. I'm
Mate,
fine.
Can you step aside, please? I don't want you getting hurt.
Oh,
And
yes.
Gaiman will, like, very, as gently as Gaiman can, move the guard to one side.
Oh,
Yeah, the guard will move out of the way.
okay. I think we need to take this to the side, Akia.
Mate, now is not the time or place for what I think you're thinking about doing.
Indeed.
Akia's face turns to you with these glowing red eyes and a face covered in a thick, icy rime, and says, I need to get in there.
Mate, I know that feeling. Now is not the time or place. Let's have a conversation before you do something that
I
you
want to
cannot take
kill
back.
them.
Right, I know.
They deserve to die.
Right, I know. Listen, mate, keep your voice down. Where you been? Let's talk about this. Yeah? Let's make sure that you don't get in trouble for this, right? There's a lot of people around, mate. And it will undo, the justice if you go off half-cocked and you beat someone to a pulp while they're sleeping. And Gaiman's trying to keep his voice down, trying to protect Akia's dignity, as it were.
Akia's hands are on the bars, shaking violently, not trying to break into the gate, just just shaking like someone who's been through something.
Akia,
Alicia will take their hand and place it on yours, and kind of just look the game in as he was about to say something.
it's all right if I touch you, mate. You know, you can hold on to me instead of the gate. Yeah. And Gaiman will slowly reach out his hands to try and get Akia to release the prison door. Slowly reaching out my hands to touch another player. Is this okay?
Akia will will take one of their hands off, take their left hand off the bar and put it on your shoulder, and just continue shaking and go down to one knee and then both hands on the floor. I'm so angry. I don't know what to do.
It's all right. Let's go someplace quiet, yeah? And Gaiman will get down on your level, and he will slowly reach out, and if you allow him, he will kind of scoop you up, kind of like a small child who's just been through a lot and like needs to be taken away for a rest.
I am very heavy, but okay.
Dude, I am very strong.
All right.
Yes, he is.
All right. Akia will just sort of, their hands will just continue to shake, and I'll allow it. And they're just like in a panic almost. And you'll notice that they are cold to the touch.
That's okay. I'm resistant to cold damage.
Yeah, but it's like, I think you've been around Akia long enough to know that when their face normally has that rime across it,
that's not a good sign.
It's actually an illusion. And this is real. Because they have
definitely not a good sign.
Because they have like a kind of like their battle paint is like rime that goes across their face in like a sort of like a pattern, fractally icy pattern. This is actual ice rime.
Gotcha.
All right, and then you carry him off. And Akia just sort of gets quiet until someone talks to them again as they try and figure out themselves what's going on because they're confused.
The guardsman looks to you all and kind of like does a nod as to acknowledge that they didn't see anything.
It's Lotus had gone to follow the new speaker, and then hearing the banging, it came down and just sort of watched from the other side of the room while you did the thing, and then she'll come up to town guard and just sort of like say, "You'll have to excuse Thane. He's been through a lot."
It appears so, but you know, I don't think we mind so much. We've all been through a lot here in Goodmead.
And so the others will just go ahead, turn back around, and start heading upstairs.
Alrighty. And I can this with you guys' tokens. Grab the tokens. Move the tokens to here. And then move the tokens to boop. To teleport you all to a quaint little part of the map. As you all are making your way upstairs, the speaker is standing over one of their ovens, and they have the fire going in the oven, and you can see that they are heating up some water within. Apparently, they're going to make some tea for everybody as you all make your way upstairs. And of course, the first thing they see is Lotus, and then they see Gaiman carrying a Kia, like a father would carry their newborn child up to bed after they fall asleep in the car or after they've fallen asleep on the couch. She looks quite puzzled as she sees this scene unfold. The speaker will ask you all, can I get anyone some tea as we navigate the situation?
Lotus will nod, and she would start to reach for her pack of cigarettes, but knowing this is like, she's in close proximity, you all, she'll just think better of it and then just keep her hands on the table. Yes, some tea would be lovely. Thank you.
She will start to steep the leaves. Oh, stuck in an object. That's weird. Here we go. As she's
I think I was running to the banister. Thank you.
As she's pouring the teacups for everyone, she will address Akia directly. Thane, are you all right?
I don't know. And Akia's just gonna sit down in this corner here. With their back against the wall, kind of lean up against the side of this thing.
Gave us quite a scare there. Shook the whole building with how vigorously you were ensuring that cage was still in perfect working order.
Akia doesn't respond to that.
Right. I see. She will turn her attention to the group and say, do we have cause to worry about what we just saw?
Well, do you mean with Thane, or do you mean with the Centaur trying to pull off some shit?
I'm more worried about our Thane here than the Zentarim, as strange as it may sound. Shadowy factions that seek to control, well, the lifeblood of this region is one thing, but our innocent protector, eyes going red, yelling out that they want to murder someone, that worries me more.
I am concerned as well. Normally you're collected, but that outburst was definitely not normal.
This, and pardon me, this is just a theory I have, but could this have something to do with the growing power of the Church of Auril?
the speaker will look over to Akia. Is that it? Is it the growing influence in Bryn Shander?
So Akia will say, it seems very difficult for him to talk right now, but he'll say, I don't think so, but he'll say it in giant.
I mean, if you want to talk about it, you and I can just talk, and then I can tell them what you want me to say. If you need some cover, right, mate? And Gaiman's saying all this in giant back to Akia, hoping that nobody else was on to speak it. And Gaiman's kind of looking around to see if there's any recognition with anybody.
Akia will say, in giant, no, it's fine. I can talk to everybody.
Continuing in giant, Gaiman will say, "Mate, if you're sure, I get where you're coming from, and if stuff happens in transit, accidents happen all the time. There could be one if that's what needs to happen."
I don't know.
You just let me know if that's what needs to happen. Mate.
Okay.
And then switching back to common, Gaiman will say, we're here to listen, Akia, when you're ready.
I think I might be angry. He continues speaking in giant.
And switching back to giant, Gaiman will say, do you want me to translate for you, mate, or do you want to speak common so everyone can follow along?
Well, I'm speaking common.
Oh, okay.
He says in giant.
Okay. Gaiman will begin to translate. So, I mean, if you want to keep saying what you need to say, Gaiman will translate for you.
I'm not sure. I've never felt quite like this before. He says he's talking in common, but he's talking in giant.
Gaiman will turn to the rest and say, I think he's a little mixed up. He thinks he's speaking common, but he's definitely speaking giant, but I'll translate. And so, Gaiman will, after clarifying with the group, he will translate for you.
I recognized that guard, one of the guards that was killed. Smitty Werben Jaegerman Johnson. He was very nice to me when I just got so angry. I think I'm angry. I feel sick.
That's understandable. It was quite a horrible situation that Beth and his accomplices brought here.
I think I feel the need to hurt them.
one thing that is a distinction. And there's no real easy way to say this. While we are thane and protectors of the settlements in this region, it is not intended for us to be murderers.
Okay.
They're right, all of us will say. I understand that you have to kill to protect the town, or to protect yourselves, or to save others. But you all are heroes. And heroes just don't march into a prison cell and murder an unarmed man, unconscious, especially in front of the whole town. Might get everyone a bad idea about the type of justice that we do here in Goodmead. The speaker will look over to you all to see if this looks like it. Is it getting through to Akia? And Akia, what sign or signal do you, your allies and the speaker see as they are speaking to you?
Akia's just looking at the floor, but y'all can move on. Akia is just going to be like that for a long time.
Okay.
Otis won't really say much of anything to you, Akia. She'll look over at you occasionally and very so often just start writing down in her notebook just, various things while sipping at the tea.
Yeah, the speaker will come around one by one to give you guys some kind of steaming cups of tea. And she will ask, well, as I was speaking earlier, we can make any preparations that you all need to house anyone or hold anyone as you are transferring your prisoners to Revel's End, if that's what you need from the city of Goodmead.
Otis will nod and say, well, I guess it will be fair. We can talk to some of those we're traveling with, see if anyone wants to volunteer to stay behind.
Of course.
Also, any shackles or chains, or we're gonna need to tie some people up.
Of course. Whatever we have here is available to you all as bindings and restraints for the prisoners. The only thing I ask in return is that we get to the bottom of why they were here in Goodmead in the first place.
Well, Aisha, don't know if I had a chance to look at the two survivors we got knocked out downstairs, but we could try a little bit of, good town guard, bad town guard. See if we couldn't get Theft, if that's his real name, Theft to Theft up to what he did,
I will say that here, though before we do, perhaps we should see if there's anything useful in here, and she'll put the bag of scrolls on the table after theft.
Absolutely. So you unroll the scroll tubes out onto the table. And there, as mentioned, there was a map of Icewind Dale that just seems to be a general map. And then there appears to be these scroll tubes. And as you pull those open, you see what looks to be documents that have writing on them. The writing appears to be gibberish.
Can't say I'm too surprised. This is probably some sort of code that they use to communicate with each other. Can any of you make any sense of it?
Akia will say in giant again. Just assume that it's in giant for the foreseeable future. I think I'm double checking my features right now, and I think if it's thieves can't, there's nothing Akia can do, but Akia will be like, I can. Sorry, I'm trying to find.
Are you trying to? Are you looking at like comprehend languages or?
No. Shoot. I have forgotten all the words that are things. Okay, so there's a thing that you can take instead of an ASI, a feat. The feat that I have, which is Keen Mind. Does that have? No. Okay, nope, never mind. I thought it had something about ciphers, like creating and deciphering ciphers. It does not. That must be a different. That's a different feat. Never mind.
Yeah, that's the linguist feat.
So yeah, as you look at the coded messages on the page, it looks like a lot of gibberish, it's written in the common language, but they are sentences that don't make any sense as you are looking at them.
Those look kind of like, what's a lorem ipsum?
That's silly. The speaker will walk over and look at this, and she says, I don't understand what this is trying to say at all.
It's that language what, Blackguards, Lockers, and Tarum use. I mean, I don't know how it works, but I've heard plenty of it in and around the fighting pits, so that's got to be it.
All right, well, I'll let you all take the lead on the interrogation. I'll keep a hold of this in case they feel like telling us what the hell was on this thing.
Well, that's the problem, is that it could be lying. We have no way to verify unless we got a means of translating it. Do any of you all have anything magical what can translate?
Unfortunately, I do not, but, maybe I could try. I don't know if they might be able to. Let me try this, and I'll tap aside the Flavy mask and look at the scroll, say like, Flavy, do you have any idea what this says?
Wavy will take a moment and say, attempting to analyze documents. Please return in a few moments as Flavy is analyzing to see if I can find commonalities.
Thank you. And I'll relay that to the others.
Akia stands up and says, in Giant, I just remembered I had some supplies I needed to purchase, and we'll start walking out of the room.
Yeah, wait, hold on. You're still speaking in Giant, mate. Can you switch to common, or do you need me to go with you?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Ladies, excuse us. Still doesn't get that he's speaking in Giant. So if he's gonna get stuff he needs, I've got to go with him. And Gaiman will follow Akia out.
Hey, the speaker looks after you all, and then kind of like huddles in closer to the ladies. What is going on with him? He wasn't like that but an hour ago. What is happening within him?
We've noticed some changes as of late. Normally when he's either in a high emotional state or, well, really a high emotional state, which can be triggered from anything of close relations or anything that deals with the Frostmaiden. Though this one was a bit different, seeing that he wanted to, as you put it, murder an unarmed man, even though said man is a criminal.
Of course. And will likely face execution, if not death by several years of hard labor at Revel's Inn. Those type of things are not for our society to decide just on our own as judge, jury, executioner. That is for the judicial system, and not for us to trust in institutions such as Revel's Inn. We don't want this to turn into a lawless place.
I wholeheartedly agree that, well, since we're on the topic, and Alicia does look at Lotus, we did have a similar incident when it came to a certain Frostvein dwarf, or Icevein dwarf, I believe her name was.
And Lotus will nod.
Wasn't able to stop you then, but hopefully we learned from something from that situation.
Indeed.
While we are Thanes, we are upholders of the law. We are not executioners. Yes, a fight can break out and violence will occur, and we must do our best to defend ourselves as well as those who are under our protection, but we should strive for our best to try and apprehend, not straight up eliminate if we can help it.
Even so, feel our guests, you hear her say the word with very heavy sarcasm, should be waking up soon, and at the very least, I'm sure I know I have a few questions about them.
I don't know much about these Zentarum. I've only heard very passing rumors of some of the things they get involved with. Maybe it's part of a larger conspiracy. As you said, maybe they were involved with the racketeering that you were able to stop months ago.
I admit that in my own readings of the history of this region, I've only seen one or two mentions of them, which, if anything, is meant to show how good they usually are at hiding their activities.
The speaker will nod. Yes, this is our first run-in with the Zentarum as well, and my first as speaker. Well, obviously, I was just named speaker just but a few hours ago. Well, then I will leave the investigation efforts and interrogation to you all. You are much more skilled than any of our people could hope to be.
Thank you. She'll finish up the tea and stand up. It's like, well, let's go start asking some questions.
Fortunately, I don't think we have time for this. We had until yesterday, or for tomorrow. There's a couple of things I could prepare that would assist us in this, but we'll just have to see what we can do for now.
Well, I'd say Mother did always give me some good advice when dealing with these situations. She always said, improvise, adapt, and overcome.
That is good advice from your mother. And all of us will follow you guys downstairs. All right, and we could fast forward to these two waking up, but it sounds like Akia and Gaiman are off into town to grab that equipment from the four lady. Is that correct?
Yes, I was going to give her 12 gold for 10 gold worth of crafting supplies.
They love that capitalism there in Goodmead.
Does that go off without any problems?
Sorry, I had to move a bottle here. Let's roll this. Absolutely. You're able to make the trip without any complications.
Okay, marking that down.
And there wasn't any objection to Gaiman acting as translator.
It doesn't seem that this lady, who we decided her name was Naslin Sternblade, is taking any offense to it. She's definitely giving you guys a weirded out look as Akia is only speaking in one language, and it's not the language that he made the deal in. But not enough to stop her from taking the money.
Gaiman, would you like to see my place?
Sure, yeah. We can go around to your place.
Yeah, so Akia will lead Gaiman to the mead hall and into the back where the bees are kept, and just a corner of like this greenhouse, basically. And Akia will just sit down in the corner of the greenhouse. And like all the bees that come up to Akia will just fall asleep.
This is something that you're doing on purpose, or
I purposely am showing you where I stayed here.
no? I'm sorry. I'm asking this out of character. So
Oh.
so this is something that Akia does, like he makes the bees sleepy, or on purpose, or is this just like an innate thing that with
Out
him?
of character, I think he picked up an item that does that. This isn't the first time we've seen animals go sleepy around him.
I just wanted to make sure. Okay, I'm sorry, my bad.
Yeah. I don't know how much you want me to explain, OOC. It's just it's a thing that happens around Akia now.
And with Gaiman's high level of intelligence, I think that he could have put together that this has been happening around the dogs and now around the bees as well.
I think this was ever since the Hag Cave, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Akia will just sit in there with Gaiman, and if you let him, Akia will start talking about beekeeping.
Gaiman feels that this is a stressful situation, and everybody deals with stress in different ways. So Gaiman will just shut up and listen.
All right. By the time that the prisoners wake up again, you'll know pretty much everything there is to know about beekeeping and making honey mead outside of practical experience. And Akia's eyes will slowly shift back to blue, and they will start speaking common again.
Again, Gaiman's just gonna be a listener.
All right. I think that'll be that scene.
Okay. The prisoners in the holding cells slowly begin to stir as they begin to wake from their unconscious state after being banged around, and removing their KO'd. Beth and the innocuous assassin will look up from behind bars at Lotus and Alicia. Theth making a face of extreme disappointment as he sees what is befallen him.
This Lotus will just sort of give a bit of a wry grin to Fef and ask him, "So how was your trip to the Waffle House?"
Confusing and overall disappointing.
There's a house of waffles.
No, Alicia, not a house made of waffles, a house that makes them and serves them.
Ah.
And she was leaning over. I'll tell you more about it later.
Okay.
But you and your associate should consider yourself lucky.
They look to one another. Yes, we find ourselves, unfortunately enough, alive after the battle. We've been taken prisoner.
Not just that. The thing is, while you two were unconscious, our friend, the Thane here of Goodmead, was, well, we had to talk him down from his own sort of extrajudicial justice.
Feth starts to crack a slight grin. You don't say.
And she'll just take a half step back and motion towards the slightly dented lock. I certainly didn't do that.
So, the Thanes have kept us alive. The Zentarum agent will look to you all. For what purpose?
Well, as you saw with the ogres here, they offered penance and remorse for their actions. If you feel to do the same, perhaps you may keep your lives and enjoy a vacation of sorts at Revel's End.
A prison run by the Lord's Alliance. A heavier collection of former Zents. I don't know if you'll find anywhere else. Is that all for you? Are you just to tell us that we're to head to prison?
You had mentioned before all the fighting broke out that you were looking to take over Goodmead. To what end? At least to hear from your own words.
The prisoner will look up to you all, and I would like a persuasion check to see if you can kind of coax the words out of this slimy Zentarum agent.
Or from be one of those players and ask, can I give guidance to Lotus in this situation?
Sure.
Oh shit, I was expecting you to say yes.
All right. All right. So we'll go ahead and roll that. Persuasion. All right, then add that D4. All right. Tell you what. At 13, I'm gonna go ahead and burn my Faxpiration on this.
A 13 to...
Makes it to 16.
16. Fef. We'll say. The Zhentarim has interests all across the world. But Goodmead, located where it is, near Red Waters, provides a strategic location for monitoring and controlling travel and trade throughout Icewind Dale. Controlling it would mean that we control an essential flow of goods and information.
Let's admit that that's actually quite smart. Though,
And controlling the favorite beverage of the region and of many beyond it. If this ever lasting winter is to break, will be quite important.
I'd like to roll an insight check on him to observe his body language and his tone, because it kind of seems like he was just so willing to give that information, which is a bit odd. Is that cool?
Absolutely.
Ooh, twos are coming out to play.
This Theth is a slimy character. He is very hard to read, as he now has this very confident grin on his face. He's almost leaning back into his cell. It's giving you all of the wrong types of signals.
Yes, you say this, Fef. It does also make me wonder if Zhentarim had designs for any other places in Icewind Dale.
Mm.
I mean, did you hear about a protection racket that was being run in Bryn Shander?
Oh, that was common knowledge, some might say, spread out through the information networks of Icewind Dale. It was done by that Valish Gant.
Baelish Gant. And does he have any connection to your group? And she still wants to float the question, but you can tell when, from the look on her face, Alicia, she's not really expecting like the whole truth here.
Right.
The Zhentarim agent will say, from what I understand of Valish Gant, he's a wizard and a member of the Arcane Brotherhood. It's not often that faction agents are members of multiple organizations. He says as he looks down at his nails, kind of picking at the dirt and blood that are kind of underneath his nails.
I see. Well,
Sorry,
certainly
quick question.
hope-
Could you clarify
mhm.
that? Was he saying that Valish was part of the Zhentarim or not?
He said to his information, or to his know-how,
That he
that
was a
Valish
wizard
Gant,
and a member of the Brotherhood.
the Arcane Brotherhood, but not of the Zhentarim.
Okay. Thank you.
All right.
And he
So
was making a quip that, faction agents are definitely never members of multiple factions at once. Who would do that?
Gotcha.
So, yeah, Lotus will just sort of like flip to her notebook with the information wrote down and just sort of put like, with Arcane Brotherhood / then Barham ? Well, while I can't think of any other questions I have for you, I will say that I hope you find your stay here comfortable. It's probably the most comfort you will have for quite some time. Miss Leisha, did you have any further questions for Fef?
Nothing that is coming to mind at the moment. More of I guess expressed disappointment that you decided a hostile takeover was the right move.
And you're right, you're right. This was definitely a overplay of my hand at the wrong time. He sighs. I'll just have to chalk this down as a mistake and try to learn from it.
Well, like Lotus says, you may have quite some time to think over it.
The Zentarum agent kind of shrugs and sighs. I didn't know what I was expecting. Or if I should have expected a little bit more intense negotiation tactics. Still haven't even offered me anything. Tell you anything that I may or may not know. I'm surprised.
Well, lucky for you, two of our group, the ones who would like to attempt more forceful questioning methods, are not here at the moment. So I don't know how much you would enjoy that. Maybe when they come back, they'll be interested in giving another round.
The grin that he had is kind of slowly turning into a scowl. I don't think I will, then. I don't think I will.
Well, I mean, if there's anything that you would like to offer, that would be most appreciated.
I'm sure there's something that I could tell you all. I'm sure that you've already rated it from my person, seeing as how it's gone, but I was in possession of some documents. Probably very hard to read for you all.
Oh, well, you are right. I mean, I was honestly just about to toss them out. I mean, they looked like the scribblings of a child.
Initially, they were difficult, but I think our boys went to go find someone who would be able to decipher them.
Ah, I see. Someone knowledgeable about the Black Network's cipher and code.
Well, if not that one in particular, at least a code cracker in and of themselves. But if you would like to make that job a little bit easier, you could tell us.
And Alicia, I'm gonna need you to give me a deception check because I don't believe that's where the boys are going
I know.
at all.
Probably should have just kept my mouth shut, but I'm gonna burn a DM inspo on this one. Yeah, I definitely should have kept my mouth shut. I'm gonna burn my Factspiration.
That might be for the best.
Okay, a 16.
A 16. Well, let's say that these documents detail the actual power of the Zentarm within Icewind Dale, including the identity of the faction agent in charge. If that is the detail within these documents, what value would it have to you all?
So you are saying that there's others across the region?
Yes. Yes, I am.
I'm gonna look at Lotus. How much should we go on the push?
Let's just sort of like tap her foot on the floor and say, well, thing is, we may be at a bit of an impasse here, where you might tell us what we want to hear, simply to save your own skin. So who are we to believe you?
It's all recorded down on those documents and can be verified quite easily.
And I guess the question would be, what would you want in return? Hypothetically, of course.
When you see Feth is staring at his ally here, both of them sitting down. Let's just say that us Black Network agents, we don't mind not doing hard labor for the next few years or longer in Revel's End. So perhaps you find it in your heart to make sure we do not end up in Revel's End.
And she actually does start laughing, like, I will let you know right now that is not going to happen.
I am not familiar with Rebels. Is there? I guess the prison system in and of itself. There can be harsher locations within it, depending on the crimes that are done. Or it kind of looks at Lotus. How much do you think they would get in for being agents of a black market organization, as opposed to, say, petty criminals? I'm assuming that's what you're looking for, Feth. Because I agree with Lotus here. I don't think you're going to be avoiding Revel's End entirely. But if we can find a area of less severity based on your good faith and behavior that you're willing to pro-offer,
Let's say this. These documents could lead to the downfall of the Black Network within Icewind Dale, if all is revealed. So perhaps that would be the method we could go with. You just tell them that we're simple brigands and not members of the Zentarin.
I think we'll have to discuss with the rest of our compatriots, but
Yes. Let us say we will take your offer under advisement.
Then I guess we're to wait. He looks over to his ally and see what is in store for us. And his ally looks to him and goes, and nods.
Now, if you'll excuse me, and I'd say, Alicia, you are seeing Lewis starting to get the withdrawal shakes as she steps outside for a smoke break.
understandable. Alicia will just look at the guard and be like, "Please continue keeping an eye on them," and then we'll follow Lewis.
Yep, she does her usual. She'll take a cigarette, light it up with prestidigitation, just take a long drag.
Well, admit, I am not a fan of trying to bargain with criminals. That did leave a bit of a harsh taste in my mouth. However, if it is something that can be done to alleviate the pressure they are putting on the citizens of Icewind Dale, maybe it is something that we can look at.
She'll nod and say, "His isn't the first of his kind I've dealt with. And back home, I dealt with them before, but it's a old Elvish saying, quid pro quo, this for that. Everyone needs something. It's all about trying to find a way to get what you want and give someone else what they want, and just hope you end up coming out on top."
Well, we should at least discuss this with Gaiman and Akia when they return. If we're willing to wait until tomorrow morning, I have a couple of spells I can prepare. That would allow us to possibly verify what they're saying is true.
He'll nod and say yes, and also I do want to take up Kia on his offer to see if we might be able to find another user around, and she'll tap the mask.
Though they did say that they're going for supplies. I'm hoping that that's given the Kia the chance to calm down. I am concerned about him.
Yeah. I do admit seeing Kia with those Terminator eyes is kind of scary.
And as the camera pans over to the boys, anything going on over there?
Absolutely.
We're presently beating the shit out of Homelander.
I would actually like to
sounds
see.
like Butcher.
I would actually like to see that.
Sorry, couldn't help myself. You said the boys. It was just too perfect.
No, it doesn't help that Gaiman sounds like Billy Butcher too.
Well, I think
I think after a certain point, Gaiman would have suggested that we head back. So I don't know how much time would have needed to transpire for you to acquire what you needed and then relate all of your known knowledge about beekeeping to me. But after which, we could head back, and so we could be approaching the hall again.
Akia's like, I'm already in bed. Did we want to meet back up?
I mean, if you want to stay here, and go into low power mode, you certainly can. Or you could come on back and we could have a meet up, whatever you prefer.
Oh, did we need to discuss something?
Well, I mean, probably need to talk about how we want to handle things moving forward. Or next steps after dealing with this entire pukes, that sort of thing.
Okay. And I don't think you've probably never heard Akia sigh before. They're like, okay. And we'll stand up and follow you back to the speakers building.
I don't know how far away we are from the speakers building, but Gaiman would take this opportunity to ask how you're feeling about the idea of trying to get Gant released, and how he feels about the various notions of
okay.
Duplicitousness, like where he's at with
well, basically
Lotus's
what'll happen is after you start talking about it, Akia will actually interrupt you and say, I actually think I would maybe rather not know what Lotus plans to do.
All right.
I've talked to Lotus about it, and I've made some suggestions, but I think I'd rather not be involved. I think I might like to not go all the way with her in this.
So you don't even want to go to Revel's End with us escorting prisoners?
I'm fine escorting prisoners, but I think maybe I'll stay outside. If things... I want to support Lotus, but I also don't want to mess up things for her. Like, if I have to lie to the guards about something, I don't think it'll go well. And Akia is just going to start rambling like excuses about why they think it's a bad idea for them to go specifically. And
hold on. I get what you're saying, mate. I think so. Just to make sure I'm getting it. Is it the issue you don't want to be involved,
Well, I
period, full stop, you've got a moral issue with it? Or is it you just think you'll muck it up because you're not good at, blind, being, a sneaky fucker?
both.
Okay. All right.
I don't want to just keep
We're stuck
saying it.
between a rock and a hard place. You don't want to fuck up her chances, but you also don't want to get, yourself fucked up by trying to do something shady.
And
Okay.
honestly, I think it's a bad thing to do. Like, not saying bad idea, but a bad thing to do, like a villain would do. I don't like it.
All right. Nobody's going to make you do anything you don't want to do. But maybe we can put our big brains together, see if there's a loophole or some shit in that contract. I haven't seen that fucking imp anywhere. Maybe we can, strong arm him into telling us what we can do.
And I think Lotus is getting tricked. I don't think this deal is what she thinks it is. And maybe that's in the contract somewhere, but maybe it's not. I think that if she's a devil princess, she probably already has the ability to see her father, and she's just gambling it away unknowingly. But yes, I think starting with the contract would be a good idea.
All right, well, let's do this. We'll head back. You tell Lotus your concerns. That way, you're in the clear. We'll look at that contract, see what we can figure out. And on my honor, I will not allow you to get roped into any shit. We'll drop it off prisoners at Revel's Head. All right?
Thank you. I've already talked to Lotus about it. I will start with the contract.
Sounds like a plan.
All right. I guess we're back.
Yeah, I'd say as you all
Absolutely.
walk up towards like Alicia and Lotus. Lotus is actually giving you the rundown on Waffle House, and it's like, and she's telling you. So with the hash browns, they have this lingo where different ways you can get it. Now, my personal favorite is get it scattered, smothered, and covered, and then she's giving you the rundown on that.
So, question: why is it a Waffle House and not like an interdimensional house of pancakes?
Well, that's a completely other establishment, but
Well, wait, well, there's an actual interdimensional house of pancakes?
well, we called it an international house of pancakes because the idea.
Right, between nations, but we're talking about different planes of existence.
I mean, perhaps someone else's banishment will send them there, but I mean, no one does hash browns like Waffle House, and I will stand by that.
All right, well, I've never had hash browns before, so I wouldn't.
So you're telling me they make these potatoes and they just layer them up with almost anything they could think of?
Mm-hmm. And this place is open 24 hours a day. So if, let's say, you stumble out of the pub drunk and hungover and you need something to eat, it's a perfect place to go.
Wait, say that again.
What, isn't it open 24 hours a day? Or stumbling out of the pub?
Well, that last bit. So it's open all the time. You can get shit-faced drunk and then go here. And then gorge yourself on meat and potatoes and greasy shit.
All sorts of breakfast items.
Breakfast items. Yep, they make omelets. All sorts of stuff.
All right. Next time we go and get shit faced, you got to banish me there. I've got to try this out.
All right. If I've got spell slots for it, you got it.
That's awesome. So you all have made it back, and the prisoners are inside the holding cell, kind of waiting for the decision from you all.
All right. Yeah, I'd say would have given you guys the rundown of what we had discussed with the prisoners and what they would have offered us.
Oh no.
Oh, poor guy.
Poor Smitty Verben Jaeger Manson Jensen. Well, not Manson Jensen, but Man Jensen. Excuse me.
If only Man Jensen hadn't gone to work today, he wouldn't have gotten a crossbow bolt to his heart.
Next, you're gonna say that he was just 2 more years till retirement.
That's the
Not
thing
even
about
2
Icewind Dale.
years, 6 months.
Oh,
You,
worse.
you can never retire.
Felicia will say, I'll admit, I am hesitant on even giving this man any type of offer. As far as I'm concerned, he can go to Revel's End for the rest of his life, for what him and his cohorts attempted. But if the information that they have could be used to root out others like him, it's at least something to take into consideration.
Do you want me to check if there are others like him around?
How would you be checking?
The signal that he did. I would replicate that. As Akia points up to the ceiling.
Oh, the fireworks?
Yeah, that's what you would interpret it as, probably.
Okay.
Yeah, the smoke signal will be used.
I mean, we could do that. So, are we having this conversation upstairs, or are we on the first floor, or outside, or? I just want to make sure we're not necessarily within earshot of the prisoners.
I assumed we were upstairs.
Okay.
All right.
So, here's what I reckon. There's no way of us being able to, reasonably know what's going on if we just take his arsehole's word for it and, do a bit of quid pro quo. I've got two notions of this. We can wait until the morning and then try and decipher the documents with magic, or I'm guessing you lot aren't going to be too keen on it. I'll sneak into their cell in the middle of the night, do a little bit of scared intimidation, freak them the fuck out, and basically make them beg for their lives in exchange for giving us what we want. But there's no guarantee that what they give us is going to be any good at that point.
Right. There is one other thing I did try. Let me see if I hear. Was Flavy able to get anything from attempting to decipher the documents?
So as you check back in with Flavy, Flavy will answer. Lewis, I have no record of this type of language convention in this written key. This is, unfortunately enough for Flavy, beyond my scope.
That's all right. Just keep this in your memory, just in case we encounter it again in the future.
I can
And
do
then-
that, Lotus.
Others. All right. Well, Flavy wasn't able to find anything, unfortunately.
I bet Icewind Dale could read that.
Do you want to ask Icewind Dale if he can read Zentarum code?
Well, sure. It's worth a try.
Just because a dude's got pockets now does not automatically make him a rogue.
All right,
That's profiling.
That is profiling. You guys call in Icewind Dale. Hey, you guys were calling for me? I was just down there at the triage center and just making sure that everyone was okay.
Thank you for that.
So I'll point to documents on the table. So, Icewind Dale, do you happen to be able to decipher any of this?
Let me take a look. And Icewind Dale starts to look at it, and he says, go to the grocer, barber, Sunday, Saturday, Tuesday. He looks to you and he says, I have no idea what this means.
I figured as much.
But I have an idea. This looks like it's that, could be that thieves can't. That they only teach to, thieves. Do we know any other thieves or criminals that we can convince to help us?
None that I know of.
Well, he's not a thief, but there is one that seems to be a master of languages who may be able to help us. And I say, and of course, oh, Watto. My love.
Oh, okay. I was just
This is like last resort. It's the one other thing I think that might be able to help us here. Watto, darling. These scrolls seem to be written in thieves' cant. Do you, are you able to decipher them at all?
Oh, look at this. Oh, hold on. I will try to work up a cipher for you all for this. It's been many weeks since I've had to do something like this. Hold on. And he pulls out his librarian spectacles and begins to start working on a cipher. As he's working on it, he notices something immediately. I don't know if this is important or not, but before the full cipher is made, one word almost seems to pop out. And he gets his ink quill out, and he scribbles it down on a piece of paper. Think we all recognize this name. I just don't know why it would show up in this document. Maxwell Dinar, aka the Speaker of Targos. Why would their name be mentioned in this document?
That's odd.
Well, if what Fifth was telling us is true, then perhaps we've found the ringleader.
We should definitely go to Targos.
What do we do with everybody else? Just leave them locked up?
That
I
sounds
mean,
good.
Yeah, but I mean, what's stopping the folks from just, and you'll see Gaiman draw a finger across his throat, while we're away.
Shaving?
Oh, killing everybody. Killing the giants, killing the, Sataran blokes, all that stuff.
I think at this point in time, Alicia's withdrawn after hearing this information and seems to be processing. There's gears turning, and they're trying to figure some stuff out right now.
We've got we've got so many so many options.
Yeah, I'm not about to go running off to Targos, okay?
We've got so many options. Should we have a quick discussion, just OOC, about where we want to go now?
Well, hold on. Before we... So...
We just got another place.
Yeah. Also, I would like to point out that if we're going to take a run at these Zimtaran guys, we really... I don't think we should be going half-cocked to Targos, because just because a name keeps popping up does not necessarily mean that they're the ringleader. It could be a target.
Yeah, it could be a target, and then it's just a waste of time.
Yeah. And then also, we need to know what's in the documents in order to take a proper run at the Fef and company.
Also,
so
we're also pretty close to, and we just got dropped that there's a spaceship piece or something related to the spaceship that dropped to the south of us. And just so many directions we could be going to add another one that we don't really have a lot of
What? Icewind Dale's an
invested
open
in
world
right now.
adventure? What you talking about?
Yeah, but we can only do one at a time.
All right, so question, Orpheus. With
Yes.
Gaiman's connection to the Harpers, would there be somebody that Gaiman could reach out to theoretically that might know Thieves' Camp so that we could get an answer to what these documents mean, and that way we could either pursue Targos, or we could just be like, no, you guys are freaking lying, and we're just gonna take you off to Revel's End. So we can make a definitive decision in what direction we want to go.
Absolutely. Because of Gaiman's connections with the Harpers, you have a connection in Bryn Shander, disguised as a old homeless woman or unhoused woman who kind of begs through the streets. And you believe that your connection with the Harpers through that woman, she could translate these documents lickety split and tell you for sure what's up.
Okay. And how far away are we from Bryn Shander right now? Like by dog sled and whatnot? Like a matter of an hour?
Yeah, matter of hours. It would be a very quick trip from Goodmead to Bryn Shander.
And if it was just me by myself, it'd be very, very fast, right?
Correct.
Okay. So Gaiman would suggest to the group that he knows a person in Bryn Shander. So he could take the documents, go there by himself real quick, come back, and then we could have an answer, and we could be able to make a decision at that point.
All right, Lewis would be happy to let you go along with that.
Would it be fast? Because
if you go to Bryn Shander,
right? Wouldn't the church be well?
I mean, I don't think they're going to be getting this person.
No, but I think they'd be more concerned about you.
Yeah, but if it's just me, I could like move around. I mean, fuck it. Doll me up like another bloody Goliath or something else. Who's got that disguise killers? Use that. Make me look not like me. Plus, one person is going to draw a lot less attention than a whole bloody group.
I think we should still travel together. If you want to go into the city by yourself, we could wait outside.
I mean, the dogs are going to be a lot faster if it's just me. I mean, less weight, faster movement.
Are we traveling that direction anyway, though?
I mean, it depends on what we want to, what the next steps we want to take. I mean, do we want to finish up taking these lot to Revel's End and, having a word with the warden, getting a sense of this bloke?
OOC, everything that we want to do, except for two things, has us traveling north in a Bryn Shandry direction. So unless we want to go to the Karkalok or investigate that recent spaceship thing, those are the only two things that are not in the direction of Bryn Shander-ish.
Yeah, but my concern is... I don't know. I want to complete something. I don't want to have a bunch of...
yeah. Well, then that... But you might just be adding another quest. You know what I mean? Like, if you go get this translated, then you're just, like, adding another quest to the quest log.
Am I, though?
Maybe.
I mean, that... Okay, we got to make a decision. We can't just play what ifs and maybes. We got to make a decision here. Because the possibility of getting more shit in an attempt to provide closure, I feel, is starting to paralyze us.
All right, so we'll head to Karkalok.
Aha.
Gaiman needs to meet his wife.
And we all
Fiance.
know OOC. Matt wants to not go to the prison because he wants to do as many side quests as possible.
I mean, he can hang out outside, and Gaiman could have words with Lotus to say, under no circumstances, no matter what opportunities present themselves, we are not breaking out Gant this visit. We are dropping off the prisoners, taking measure of the warden, gathering information.
All right, yeah, and she'd be fine with that. We still got like what?
Plus,
another 3
plus we need to
weeks
look
on
at
the
that contract, see
clock.
if we can't find a loophole, because Aki is convinced that you're being suckered into a fool's deal.
All right, and yeah, she would be fine with that. Take stock here because we still got like 2.5 weeks left. So
Okay.
yeah, that's fine.
So if we're gonna head that way anyway, we might as well all go as a group. And then if Gaiman wants to go into town by themselves, that'd be fine.
Minus the weight that we'll need to, minus the B team members, since we're going to be bringing a bunch of prisoners.
Are we gonna let the Verbeeg ride on the sleds?
I mean, are they going to be able to keep up? And what's stopping them from just bolting? If we're letting them, be, not putting them in leg irons.
Honor system.
And
would you trust them under the honor system?
We sort of. I don't know.
We force march them back to town.
Yeah.
If we have them trying to run and keep up, they may just be like, "Fuck it," and let's make a break for it. We have to. We got to keep it.
Yeah, I think I missed that part. Is that what we were going to do? We were going to leave some B team so that we had more sled space.
Yes.
Yeah.
That idea was floated.
Okay. Boogie.
yes, and they are not fast enough from a speed perspective to just run behind the sled. Can you imagine trying to run behind a dog sled with a rope attached to your wrists and probably wrist and ankle manacles?
Yeah, that doesn't sound like a very good thing to do either.
Oh,
Yeah, you'd basically be keel hauling them.
Mm-hmm.
I guess if you want, we could just everyone start heading to Bryn Shander while on just at walking pace while Gaiman goes up on ahead. If that's what you want to do, is go get this translated first before we do anything else. Is that what the party wants to do? Have Gaiman go get this thing translated?
Well,
Yeah, sure.
my only concern is that if he goes in solo, the church who currently has occupation of the town is likely gonna fuck with him. So it'd be preferable if we at least all went, and if we were outside the town, that's fine. But I think him just going off solo, that's probably not going to be a good time.
Okay. Well, why don't we just head there slowly? I mean, it doesn't take real life time, so we can just say we head there slowly.
Oh,
so the difference between walking and dog sled, if we just wanted to know that, from Goodmead to Bryn Shander, it is a 7-hour walk if you're just walking versus a 3-hour dog sled ride.
Yeah, and the giants are going to. Well, I guess they could ride on the sleds. Well, I guess the question is there any B team that we want to leave behind so that we can get to because it is a long trip up to Revel's Inn. So we would have to go slow the entire way if we took everybody.
So it'd be 2 large creatures, and then we have 2 humans on top of that. So that's pretty much a giant kin on 2 of the
I
Yeah.
would suggest let the PCs go to Bryn Shandard so gaming can meet with his contact. B team stays here, make sure that the Verbeeg, etc., don't get killed. And then we can get the stuff translated and come back and maybe have time to interrogate properly Feff and company. Because if we can get everything translated, maybe that gives us the leverage we need.
All right.
I would agree with
Okay.
that. Only thing I do want
Alright.
to ask, Orf, is the time that's posted here correct? Is it close to 9 o'clock in the evening?
Let me quickly pull that up. Let's pull it. Yes, it is.
Okay.
All right. It sounds like the 4 of us are going to take 1 sled, and the B team and all the prisoners stay here.
That is what I'm suggesting, yes.
All right.
Okay.
So if we're looking from a timing standpoint, 3 hours to get to Bryn Shandard. That puts us close to midnight. Not sure how long it'd take to translate those documents. Let's say it's another 3 hours or so. And then 3 hours to come back. Assuming all goes well.
Should we rest now and leave early in the morning? It is getting late.
I would agree with that. We do this in the morning and then come back, and then we have the rest of the next afternoon. Yeah, we get back by afternoonish time to speak with them.
All right.
Because
Honestly, I'd
otherwise,
rather go now, but I mean, I'm outvoted, so fuck it. Let's just call it a night.
we'd be running into
Oh.
exhaustion.
Oh,
I'm good to go. I mean, I could do this myself. You know, be back and go and be back. And just done.
I think the dogs have been traveling for 8 hours already today or more.
Mhm.
oh, that's right.
So the dogs might be running into exhaustion as well.
Well, actually,
All right.
the dogs, we didn't use the sled going into the
No, we
forest.
didn't.
Yeah, so they would have been here resting or and whatnot.
We didn't?
No,
you
we
guys
didn't.
were
No.
walking.
That's why
Yeah.
it took so long.
Oh,
Because we walked there, which took several hours,
mhm.
dealt with everything, had to spend the night. Well, some of us had to spend the night inside. Some of us spent it outside because of the loud talking, and then we walked back.
I
And
thought
then
I thought we did have the dog sleds because the entire B team was there. So
Well, the B teams were the ones that had the dog sled.
They walked along with you guys. You guys just left them in town.
oh,
Because it wasn't a very far place that we had to go to, so I don't know if there was a
But we
specific
did- we
reason
did
that we
hoof
needed the
it.
dogs. But yeah, we did walk-ins there.
well, I was just gonna say that if we had a long rest, I could make you invisible while you go into town. If you want to scale the wall or something without being seen. If you just want to go in by yourself. I don't know if that's even really important or not. We can't. The church is sort of unpredictable at this point.
Yeah, that was my one concern of going solo. Is that we have no idea what they would do if they saw one of our party just trying to go into town.
All right.
They could just ignore it, but they also could,
Well, I don't want us to just be paralyzed for the rest of the night trying to figure out what we want to do. So
let's just go with that. Let's bed down. PCs will go in the morning, do stuff, come back.
Okay, we take a long rest.
Oh, before we do though, because you said like here, Lewis would take out her Icewind Dale map and say, "Now, Akia, I know you said like here. So before we rest, how about you go ahead and use your compass, see if we might be able to at least vaguely pinpoint where another Flavy user might be."
All right. It's not going to appear on the map though.
Well, I know. It's just I'm using the map to help get my own bearings like here. So if it's going a particular direction, I might be able to, if not guess who, at least get general ideas where they might be.
All right. I will take out my Compass of the Seeker, and I will use my once a day ability. I'll concentrate on locating, you said the closest, the next closest Flavy unit.
Correct.
And I will concentrate on finding the next closest Flavy unit's direction.
Okay, give me one moment. As you begin to focus, the compass, I'm almost envisioning almost like a Ouija board, begins to point your hands towards Caer Dineval. And listed on the map, you have a landmark in Caer Dineval, like some maps show, and there is I'm going to say it pinpoints you to the castle at Caer Dineval.
As it does, her eyes go wide, and she'll say something in Draconic, and then just suddenly say, "Here, wait, you don't think?" And she'll sort of whisper to y'all, "Wait, you don't think it's that tiefling, do you?"
With our luck, it's the tiefling.
Alright.
Statistically speaking, probably not.
Alright. Well, there's a possibility, but thank you, Kia. And then she'll sort of, and then she'll just write down her notebook and then roll the map back up.
I would suspect that Flavy users would not have come to Icewind Dale except by spaceship. And we know that that tiefling traveled with the other wizards to Icewind Dale.
She's okay, well, if it's not her, that and maybe others that the
Although, it is possible that she found a Flavy unit, or killed someone with a Flavy unit and took theirs.
yeah, that's possible too.
But it's more likely it's just someone that was abducted. And then now is running around like you.
And then she says, You know, that's the thing. All the various worlds and planes of existence out there, and with it just grabbing people up, like, still, it's, ugh. And she's like, here, it's like, you know, the whole reason they did this is because it's all about their whole big master plan for taking over everything.
Okay.
As this conversation is happening, Watto chimes up. I'm sorry to report, but as best as I can, I'm unable to make more heads or tails of this document. I'm sorry, my dear.
It's all right, love. You've done quite a bit already, and, well, wouldn't be much of a cipher if it could be decoded so easily. Thank you. No, give him a smooch.
All right. Kia also, I guess Akia will head to the bees to go power down for the night.
Okay. Well, it sounds like everyone needs to grab a long rest.
All right, so if we are getting officially a rest, then I will go ahead and then finally be able to attune to that fancy bracelet of the water mage that I have now.
I'm going to change out some spell.
Are we able to complete the long rest and change out our spells and stuff?
Yes, you guys are not assaulted in the middle of the night.
Always got to check.
Gaiman would walk Kia back to their place. Once we get there, Gaiman would ask Kia how he's feeling about punishment being met out and whether or not Akia still feels that things need to happen with regard to the Zentarum.
Akia seems to have calmed down significantly, and they seem more than happy to let the authorities handle it in their current state.
Okay. And Gaiman will bid you goodnight and let you go into low power mode.
Night.
Are there any other scenes that happen in the night, or is everyone just grabbing a rest?
I guess it's like here, sort of play off the fact inspiration question. Lotus would have, talked about being a Luxodon to Watto and would have thrown the question back to him and asked him what, if he could be anything other than a tabaxi, what would he be?
Watto, would you still love me if I was a worm?
Look, we had this
Oh, no.
discussion before,
Oh, no.
remember?
If you couldn't love me as a worm, then you don't deserve me at all.
Oh, man. Watto would say, well, if it might surprise you, but if I was unfortunate enough killed and then reincarnated, I would hope to be returned to life as a gnome, like our good friend Mr. Nabanaka. Their
Interesting.
natural proclivity towards the arcane cannot be denied.
Interesting.
And perhaps had I grown up in a gnomish culture, I wouldn't have fallen trap to the cult that I found myself in.
Perhaps, but we're all products of various things that happened to us growing up, and even you know, and some of the unfortunate things that happen can lead to some rather interesting places and interesting people.
It's true, if I had not had my life experiences that I had, I would have never met you or those that we call friend. Something to ponder on as we rest.
And as she attunes to the bracelet, it gets this sort of a weird ethereal purplish glow to it.
And notice you feel the power within this bangle-y type item. And it, of course, gives you the abilities that it had listed on it.
And as she does, she'll tell Water the tale of a hero who wore a similar bangle by the name of Miss Marvel.
So you're saying that there was a discrepancy between her on-screen appearance and then her appearance in other forms of media where she could just grow.
Yes, it's a rather interesting way different adaptations work, and they basically spend the night nerding out about that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So I need to pass the day forward then.
Or this is going to be a long shot, but with the mentioning of the town speaker of Targos, is there anything that Alicia can remember? If because they mentioned that maybe he was the ringleader, and for some reason I just can't shake it out of my head. Is there anything that Alicia could think about during the evening of maybe his behavior was strange or anything of that nature?
Absolutely.
Or for the
We will.
time that Alicia knew them?
Absolutely. Give us a history check here as you begin to think back on your time spent with the speaker of Targos.
Okay. Fuck it. I'll burn my last DM inspo.
There we go. Mm-hmm.
26.
Oh my gosh. As you think back on it, Alicia, the actions of the speaker start to make sense that they would be a Zentarum spy in disguise. And you can remember that Naerth always seemed to be just a little too popular with everyone in town, always seeming to know exactly how to speak to them. Of course, his right-hand man, Scath, well, they lost their life defending Targos against this Chartlan dragon. But Scath was, in a similar way, always just a little bit too cool.
I like to think that Alicia is kind of just like pacing down this little corridor up top, just trying to think, and then it starts kind of playing like various scenes in their head, of like, oh, there was this one time that Alicia decided to go Karen mode and talk to the speaker about something, and somehow he was able to get her to calm down, but it was just a little too easy to know what would get them to calm down. Or like there was something
Absolutely.
else that was brought up and he was like, oh, don't worry about it, I'll take care of it, and somehow it was taken care of.
Con man this whole time. And now that you're thinking about it, the speaker always seemed to have a fresh supply of mice in and around their building. He said that he was using it to feed pets of his.
But we should never got a good look at what those pets were.
Mm-hmm. Which now I can share this art with you guys.
Oh, son of a bitch. Oh, god damn it. Well, you know what? This is perfect because as a cleric of Lathander, they shine light on the darkest places. So, you know what? The fact that they finally came around and figured this out,
Mm-hmm.
it only took about, what episode are we on? 67? 64 sessions?
Yeah, and the other group that did Rime, they were done. Apparently, we're taking our sweet time.
Yeah. Alright. Well, Alicia is, if anyone checks up on them in the morning, Alicia has there's a mark on their forehead, as apparently they may have slammed their head into the wall a couple of times once they came to this realization.
Well, I'd say in the morning that, of course, Lois and Water will wake up, and I imagine it probably looks a little something like this meme image here.
Now, why is Watto's face so aghast?
I think I'll leave that up to everybody's imagination. You know, this is a family show after all.
That's true. That's true.
It is?
Look, I have a very interesting family, okay?
I would say we've talked an awful lot about coconut oil.
Well, I guess we can say that Watto is not the only one who has some interesting moves.
Appropriate. So, yes, down at the breakfast table in the mead hall, the B team is assembled. Blarton is actually sitting there at the dinner table, and you guys finally notice the appearance of Skerrick. They have been hiding in the rafters in owl form, waiting for this all to kind of simmer down just a bit.
Who's scared?
Ah. So, Skerrick, good to see you, and I'll motion him down. Come here, please.
And the owl will slowly glide down. And I'm trying to remember if the owl spoke in front of the speaker of Goodmead or not. Fuck it. He'll say, yes, I was just making sure to hide my presence during that whole debacle. And the speaker of Goodmead, who's sitting there to have breakfast with y'all, points at the owl and says, is that owl, can that owl talk?
Yes, it's my familiar.
She looks to you and deadpan says, That explains everything.
Well, all right. So, there's some things that my friends have discussed with me that I would like to clear up for them. May I see the contract, please?
Derek will say, the contract I am presenting you, of course, is a copy of the actual contract that is present in the Nine Hells, containing all of the information, wording, and legalese, guidelines, and therefore, that you are to follow to complete it. And the owl will slowly start making a box in the air with its talon, and as it does so, a red outline begins to form in the air. As the red outline becomes to be more and more opaque, it starts to take shape. The shape is of a manila folder that it slowly slides over to you, Lotus.
All right. She'll pick up, grab hold of the folder, set it down on the desk here, and then open it up and for everyone to see.
Excellent, and I can provide the full text and description of the contract between sessions. Once again, the speaker of Goodmead's like looking like, what do familiars do that? do they summon things out of the middle of the air? Not knowing that this isn't it, of course. So the Larton will say, we've talked about it, and we're all okay to stay back to watch the giants. Make sure that no one crosses in here into the prison and attacks them or the Zintari members. So for our information, we can make sure that all of the B-teamers are going to make sure that your prisoners stay safe while you all abscond to Bryn Shander. So with that, you can take us back to the start screen because we kind of have a path leading forward to our next session. Cool.
So we head to Bridgehander. Gaiman goes to contact, gets translation. We leave Bridgehander. We don't stay. We don't look at no one else. If they have a question mark above their head, fuck them. We don't look at them.
Absolutely.
Look, I keep saying it's like what happens with the dad from Venture Brothers. Like, no matter where I go, I always get waylaid by jackassery.
Mm-hmm. And you got to make sure, no matter what you see in Bryn Shander, you don't stop, no matter what it is, what you see.
But Orf, there's a Buc-ee's right over there.
And no matter what sideshow attraction, what things the Church of Auril is doing, you can't let that affect you.
If you don't look at them, they don't exist. If you don't look at them, they don't exist. If you don't look at them, they don't exist.
Absolutely. Well, y'all, it was a fun night of playing D&D with y'all. I know we didn't fight any monsters or get exploded by any traps or anything like that, but in my opinion, that was fine.
I agree.
I mean, considering that in my Starfighter game last night, my character almost got disintegrated, I'm happy for that.
Good game. Good game.
And I'm happy that Matt, that you were able to play for a long, extended period of time, and that you Didn't have to miss the whole session.
Me too.
Cool. Well, y'all, I am going to sign off of here. I will be present and
What
the trajectory of the campaign towards, well, chapter 5, as I like to call it. Before we sign off, if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns for me over the week, just let me know, and we'll go from there. I hope you guys have a good rest of your weekend.
You too.
Thanks for the game, Orph.
Thanks,
All
Brian.
My pleasure, guys.
Night.
Hey, you guys have a good one. Bye.
All right, good game. Good night, everybody.
Yep. GG's.
Bye.
Have a good weekend.
Bye.
Thanks everyone for tuning in. Catch you next time.